Happy Friday, Flat Rock Church. This is Pastor Bobby, and I want you to know that I have some exciting news. Like most of us, we've wondered over the last month or so, when will the church gather back together again? I know we've been gathered online, but when would we gather in our physical location again? Well, I have a date for you. It's May the 17th at 11 a.m. Now, I know that you have tons of questions. And so one of the things I want to do now is to really walk through some questions that maybe you have about us gathering back together. Let me give you the first one. What's the governor saying about the churches regathering back together again? Well, if you go back and look at all the press conferences that he's done, he said in his statements, I will never inhibit the churches to gather together. He didn't want to infringe on our First Amendment rights. As a matter of fact, this past Wednesday, the 29th, the governor was on a conference call with all the pastors in the state of South Carolina, and he encouraged them to gather. However, he also encouraged them to keep the social distancing, to keep the CDC guidelines. And so he's a big proponent of the church and the mission of the church. And so he encouraged, and so I want to encourage you, if you did not see that video, you can go online to find out what the governor has to say about the churches regathering together. So we wanted to listen to our government, and we wanted to listen to what they said. Let me give you the second one. Well, what's our local association, our Piedmont Baptist Association? What are they saying? Well, they've also been very much like the governor. They've kind of left it open for the individual churches to make those decisions amongst themselves. And so they've been kind of waiting and seeing. And so over the last couple of weeks, there's been several churches that have already gathered together. There's been like 2 or 3 that's already have gathered, and there's several that said that they're going to open up on Mother's Day, and then there are others that said that they're planning to open up in the first Sunday of June. So that's really what our local association and our local churches are talking about doing. Now, here's the next step. So what is our church leadership? What do they have to say? Well, this past Wednesday, I met with them, and I brought into that room a wide variety of leaders in the church. And here's what I did. I brought in a senior citizen. I brought in a businessman. I brought in a deacon. I brought in our staff. And I just threw out the idea. Let's talk about how this relates to us as a body of believers. Now, I know what the governor's saying. I know what the local association's saying. But what is God saying to us as a church? And so we believe, just in our talking points and really where we're at, we believe that we feel like we're making the right decision to move ahead and gather back together again. And that date is May the 17th. It's the Sunday after Mother's Day. Now, understand this. We did not take this decision lightly. We thought about this, we've prayed through this, and we've thought through this. And so a couple of other questions that probably come to mind. Well, what about the health and safety of our people? Well, that's a great question. I'm glad that you asked. Now, at any point in this conversation that you felt a check in your spirit that you're not ready to gather back together again, here's what we want you to know. We want to encourage you to stay at home. We want to encourage you, if you're a senior or your immune system has been compromised, if you feel unsafe at all, we want you to know that we're not forcing you, we're not mandating you, we're encouraging you to stay home because we don't want you to feel at risk at all. We're going to continue to offer our services online via like we've already been doing, and so you can catch us online. But to those who've also been working and out and about, and you've been continuing your normal daily lives, but you've been practicing the social distancing, we're going to do that at our church. We're going to gather back together, but we're going to take very serious precautions For example, we're going to sanitize all the chairs. We're going to pressure wash all the chairs, wipe everything down in the gym. And our goal is to meet in the gym. Why? Because we feel like our sanctuary is very permanent in the pews where you can't really move. And so we're going to move our services to the gym. And the reason that we're moving to the gym is because we feel like that family units can sit together and kind of isolate themselves 6 feet apart from other family units. And so it's very flexible to be able to move the chairs and grab the chairs. And so we're going to be meeting in the gym, not our sanctuary. And so it's an opportunity for you to practice social distancing, but also gather together as the family of God. We're going to have things in place like masks. We're going to have masks available. We're not asking you or telling you got to wear a mask. We're just saying, hey, they're available if you need it and desire. There's going to be hand sanitizer stations. So we're going to do everything that we can to take precaution to make sure that you feel comfortable when you come, and if you feel uncomfortable, to stay home and you can catch the service online. Now, let me give you another question. What is that Sunday going to look like? Well, simple. Here's what's going to happen. We want you to come on our property. There's going to be some awesome folks out front. Maybe our teenagers, our youth are going to be directing us to exactly where to go. It's going to be in the gym. And so you're going to get out of your car and you're going to gather together as a family unit. We're not going to have Sunday school. We're not going to have children's church. We're not going to have anything besides a gathering of our whole church family together as one family in the sanctuary or in the gym on that Sunday. And so we're going to have some things for our kids. So our children's department, they're making some things that very creative to try to, to keep your kids occupied. And we're going to have the service very interactive. And it's going to be a good time. So again, but if you don't feel comfortable bringing your kids, then by all means, again, we're not forcing you to do that. We want to encourage you to come. But we also want to encourage you to stay home if you feel uncomfortable. And so the family will sit together, and we want you to practice those social distancing things. And so as greeting and welcoming, we're not going to be doing handshakes and high fives and hugs, though I know I'm excited about getting to see everyone, and I'm sure that you are too. But we're going to practice the CDC guidelines and practice those social distancing measures. And so you're going to come in and we're going to have a time of worship and a time of message. And then at the end, obviously, we're going to encourage you to dismiss. And so if you want to hang out outside and keep your space and hang out with other folks that maybe you hadn't seen in the last 6 weeks to 8 weeks, then we want to encourage you to do that. But we at Flat Rock, we believe that we're going to continue on as a church body gathering together. And that date, again, is May the 17th. May 17th at 11 a.m. And so we've done what we feel like we know to do. We've sat down, we've prayed through, and we just said, God, we want to hear your voice. It's important for us to hear the governor. It's important for us to hear the government. But God, we want to hear what you have to say. And so that's what we've done. We've sat down and we've prayed through it. And that's exactly why I've asked those questions. What's the governor saying? What's our local churches already doing? What's our leadership? What have they said? Have we put the safe and wellness of things in place? And I've talked about that. And then how does that Sunday look? So I'm sure that you're going to have questions. Feel free to give us a call here at the church, but make plans to attend. But also, as you attend, remember, we're still practicing, as the governor has asked, and everyone has asked, that social distancing. But we're going to have a time of unbelievable worship and a word from God, all right? Sorry for the long video, but I know this is an important time and exciting news as we gather back together as Flat Rockers, all right? God bless you, and maybe this is a great opportunity to invite some friends and just have a time to sense the presence of God. God bless you. I look forward to seeing you soon.